Hello friends, welcome to the Archer and Olive channel. My name is Elizabeth and I am an ambassador for Archer and Olive. You might know me as The Joyful Sojourn on Instagram and YouTube, so definitely give me a follow over there, but make sure you are subscribed to the Archer and Olive channel. This to me is one of the most beautiful subscription boxes that Archer and Olive has ever made. If you're watching this from the future and you're disappointed that you might have missed this one, don't worry. Every quarter sub box is beautifully curated and you get a wonderful selection of items. Now let's get to the creative play part, which is some ideas for how to use the soft cover notebooks and the B6 notebooks inside. All right, voiceover Elizabeth here for the creative play section of this video, and that is setting up the 3 different soft cover notebooks. Here I'm just reminding myself of what the layouts are inside. So we do have a dot grid, a lined, and a graph grid option. I have a bunch of decorative elements from the sub box, including the stickers, the washi tape, and the pens, but I do draw heavily on some other items, including some functional stickers from Archer and Olive and the Calligraph grayscale pens. The hardest thing about breaking in a new notebook is actually starting the notebook, and so in all 3 cases, I am titling the front of the notebook with what's going to be housed inside. Of course, I want to do this decoratively, so over the course of the 3 notebooks, you'll see me use the washi tape, the pens, and the stickers from the sub box. I also decided to decorate that first page on the inside, mostly because it can be a little bit wonky for storing information, and it's just another place for me to have fun and play. I'm using the artisan paper here, and I'll layer it with additional stickers. When I was trying to decide what to use each notebook for, I really took into consideration the layout itself. Graph grid layouts are excellent for tracking information and for numbers, and so I decided to break out my Archer and Olive stamps and to label this for tracking. So I will be doing wellness tracking in this notebook. Wellness tracking is also really great in on-the-go systems like this traveler's notebook and in this B6 size because you can take it anywhere, including the gym. All right, we've decorated the first notebook, but I want to show you an example of a tracking page you can include in this B6 notebook. If you are looking for more examples, definitely check out the Archer and Olive blog and the Archer and Olive YouTube channel for all the different types of wellness tracking you could do in your bullet journals and your softcover notebooks. In this example, I'm setting up a tracker page for the quarter, and I'm using mostly the duotones from the sub box and the grayscale Calligraph pens. I am a big fan of vertical monthly views, and so I've created vertical views for each month with both the dates and the day of the week on the columns. Since we're doing quarterly tracking on this layout, I've got a whole extra column that I can use for reflections and for a key, and I'm using the bullet side or the dot pen side of the duotone to color code different areas that I'd like to track in the vertical view. I really like tracking my cycle, my moods, my tummy issues, and my steps and exercise. And so those are the things that I can use the dot pen for. And look how the dot from the duotone is perfectly spaced inside that 5mm graph spacing. It is so satisfying. Once I've set up my key, I'm setting up my quarter 1 roundup, and that is just going to be a sum of the days that I felt or experienced each of those things. And I just like how clean this is. We have so much information that can be fit on these 2 pages. That's all I'm setting up for now in the graph grid notebook, but I hope it gives you some ideas for how you might use yours. Let's pivot over to the plans notebook. I'm using the dot grid notebook for plans because I feel like it is the most familiar to all of us when we need planning on the go. A dot grid notebook is excellent for creating daily pages and weekly pages. So that's what we're going to do with this one. I used the alphas from a functional sticker set from Archer and Olive for my PLANS on that front cover. And diving into this first page, it's a little complicated. I'm going to be honest, it's a little complicated, especially if you are going to use this technique with darker washi tape. But it is one of my favorite looks, and that is a tapestry of stickers and washi in frames or in boxes. I really wanted to put the craft knife to the test, and my goodness, this knife is so good. It is incredibly sharp, so you do have to be careful, but you don't have to apply too much pressure and it will cut. It will cut and it won't cut through the page, so just use very gently. And as you can see here, I'm just laying down some of the washi material stickers and the washi tapes inside the frames, and I'm trimming them out so that they're within the border. This is one of those crafty moments that can be laborious, but if you are looking for creative play and you just want to have fun, then take your time and enjoy it. Now that we have the tapestry down, I'm just grabbing some alphas from Archer and Olive, the ransom note style, and adding on the go for my on the go planner title page. Now, 9 times out of 10, if I'm using a traveler's notebook type setup, I am not decorating the way that I'm decorating this guy. But I did want to share with you 2 different layouts that you can do in a B6 notebook. Obviously, you can do any number of different layouts, but if you've met me, you know I like to do some creative play. So I am setting up a weekly layout and a daily layout so you guys can see what I might do with this if I was decorating. The standouts here for me are definitely the duotone pens with that dot bullet tip. It is so nice. I also pull again from the grayscale Caliograph pen set. I use that every single day. It's one of my favorites and is how I'm learning to do brush lettering. So there is a very basic weekly layout that you can do inside your softcover notebook. Now let me show you one of my tried and true go-tos for a daily layout, and that is with some hourly time blocking. So the first thing I do is I split the page with an hourly schedule on the left side. I always add some sort of decorative element along that line, and then I have space for to-dos on the right side. I stuck mostly to the sub box decorative elements with the exception of those green boxes that you see. Those header boxes are actually from the functional sticker set from Archer and Olive. And there you go, a very simple and clean daily layout that you can use in a softcover notebook. If you decide to pick up any of these extra items on the Archer and Olive website, make sure you use the code JOYFUL10 to save 10% off of your purchase. All right, friends, the last notebook to set up is the lined notebook. And for me, I immediately think of journaling and commonplacing. And so that's what I'm setting up this notebook for. Nothing fancy here. I am letting the artisan paper shine. This is a really thin veil of a paper that I'm just gluing on that left margin so that I can open and close it still. And I'm reinforcing that adhesive with some of the lace washi from the sub box. The only thing I'm adding to that first page is the word noted. I really loved the way that this shines through that transparent paper, and it's just a soft and delicate touch to the notebook. That's it, friends. I hope it was helpful to see how I would set up these 3 softcover notebooks in the December 2025 Archer and Olive subscription box. There are an infinite number of ways to use these notebooks. These are just some ideas to get the ball rolling. I absolutely love this thing. It's so compact. It feels good in the hand. And I love that we have a place for everything and everything in its place. We have our commonplace notebook, our wellness tracking notebook, and then I have a notebook for additional planning space on the go. If you're a subscriber and received this seasonal sub box, will you leave us a comment with how you're planning on using these notebooks? I would love to hear your ideas, and hopefully we can learn from each other. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that now, and come find me over on Instagram and YouTube. My handle is The Joyful Sojourn. Remember, you can use the code JOYFUL10 for 10% off of your purchase, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.